Hi again, everyone. I'm going to do a video on negative harmony because it's been my most popular video recently, so I thought I'd just touch on it again. I feel motivated because of all you new subscribers, so thank you. And hit the like button if you like it, and give me one of those if you don't. And, of course, I love the comments. I try to answer most of the questions. And I did have a question about negative harmony. Somebody asked me, did I use the axis of G or C as explained by Collier? All right, well, I'll just explain it again. I'm not really quite sure what that means, but basically the way it works is you take an octave, you split it at the fifth like this, and then within this range, you switch the notes, like G becomes C, F sharp becomes D flat, F becomes D, and E becomes E flat. And then up here, it's the same thing. G becomes C, these two switch places, and those two switch places. So if you take a dominant seventh chord, like G seventh, and let's invert it so we get it all up here in the range here. We'll invert it. And the F becomes D, and the D becomes F, so nothing actually changes there. The G becomes C, and the B becomes A flat. So instead of this, you have this. And you see, this is kind of a plagial cadence that moves, from the, say, the 4 chord down to the 1 chord, right? So that's a little bit of negative harmony. And, let me point out something else. This chord, you could think of this as a B flat chord. And how many times does the blues kind of go like this? You're in C, and you go to F, and then you go to B flat, like that, that's B flat, and it kind of gets back to C from the B flat. So you see negative harmony. It's not like it's something really new. It's really been around for a while. So anytime you're going from B flat up to C, you're kind of using negative harmony because this is your 5 chord, more or less. You could think of it as an F chord moving to C, okay? So we can exploit this, I think, by using it in 3, 6, 2, 5, 1s and turnarounds and playing the blues and all that kind of stuff. So let's look at it a little bit more. If you do a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, all those chords can be dominant. You can make the minor a dominant, all right? All right. So, since we said a dominant chord here becomes actually a minor 7 flat 5 or a minor 6 chord, you can think of it either way. Let's use those chords instead of dominant chords to do a 3, 6, 2, 5. And not only that, we won't go 3, 6, 2, 5. We're going to go, instead of starting up on the third, we're going to go down a third and then go backwards through the cycle of fifths. So using, the old language of 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, that's going to become our new 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. And every chord is going to have a minor 6 chord on it, right? Minor 6, minor 6, minor 6th, minor 6th, minor 6th, right? Same thing to C. All right, so our 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 is going to sound something like this. Okay, now I'm going to hip this up just a little bit. And instead of using, say, a minor 6, I'm going to use a rootless voicing for a minor 6 chord. All right, and a rootless voicing for this minor 6 would be like a 3, 5, 6, and the 9. Okay, and I could do the inversion of that like this. And then my chords are going to look like this. Okay? Now these look like pretty typical chords, Well, sure they are, because when you're doing regular 3, 6, 2, 5, 1s, you're usually using those kind of chords moving in the other direction. All right, that's a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. And here we're just going to kind of move the other way and end up back here. Now, I've noticed a few kind of tricks about this. Suppose, you're in the key of C. I'll keep it in the key of C, and you're playing a blues. Then you get to the 2 chord. And there's a 5 chord. And see, it's kind of altered there. I did an altered 5 chord. Well, that's the exact same chord I was using as my 3 chord in negative harmony. So I'll go my 2 chord, I'll do my 5 chord, and then I'll start the turnaround by playing this chord again and moving up through the cycle in the wrong way. And look, right here, I'm on the last one. That's the D minor 7 flat 5 or the F minor 6 chord. But I'm kind of using it like this. And how many times do you actually use that as a B flat chord and just go right back to C? You do it all the time, right? You're in C, F, B flat, and right back to C. It happens a lot in the blues. Happens a lot in various songs too, where you go from the 1 chord to the 4 chord, and then to the flat 7 chord dominant, and then that's kind of a backdoor way of getting right back to C. So, once again, negative harmony doesn't seem to be covering anything really new, but it's just kind of doing things in a kind of a reverse order type of way. All right. So the way I planned this out, I wanted this one to be my penultimate chord right here, this chord, right? Because it's the rootless version of this chord, right? We determined this was our 5 chord in reverse harmony by flipping things on the axis. I made it a rootless voicing. I'm playing the inversion right here just to keep it simple and in the right place. And then, 3, 6, 2, 5. That's my 3 chord. 3, 6, 2, 5. All right, so here comes the negative harmony blues. All right. And there, for my 3, 6, 2, 5, I was already on this as a 5 chord, but now I'm calling it my 3 chord in negative harmony. All right. Now, maybe how could we make this more interesting? When I do my 2 and my 5 chord in the last line, I think I'll use this chord for my 5 chord instead of the altered version. That way, when I go to this chord as my negative harmony 3 chord, I'll have a change of color there. So starting on the last line with the 2 and the 5. All right, if you play that enough, it starts to sound kind of typical, just like any typical 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. So kind of a mental shortcut that you can use to play a negative 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Like suppose you're in the key of F. All right, and the 5 chord, an altered 5 chord would be an altered C chord. Right? Okay, that's where the negative harmony starts for a 3, 6, 2, 5. The bass player should be thinking more like a C sharp there, but your chord stays the same. And then you just move backwards through the same kind of series chords that you've probably practiced with 3, 6, 2, 5s. So it's be like this. Be right there, and then you move to F. All right? That's the negative harmony dominant chord. All right, we could prove that in F. All right, dominant chord. All right, reverse the notes. All right, you get B flat minor 6th, play a rootless voicing of it. There it is. And then you just move to F. And remember, it starts on what looks like the 5 chord, but that chord functions also as a minor 6 chord or a half diminished chord. And you just take the same thing. Normally you would be going like that, right? To do a 3, 6, 5. 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. You just do it in reverse order. You start here. All right, so. that chord right there, and it's moving to the F chord. All right. Had to alter the melody a little bit. I started on the 5 chord. And the blues scale seems to function pretty well over that, but of course that's not surprising because the blues scale functions pretty much over everything. That's why it's a beautiful scale. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. And, of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you hit that little bell that's beside the subscribe button, that means you'll get like an email or something whenever I put out a video, which sometimes can be like every other day, and then sometimes can be like once a month or something. So it all depends on my working schedule. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.